All right, guys, so today we're going to be testing out the new SMSLaser Trinity and seeing how it does up against the SMSLaser HFXC. But right now it's nighttime in an urban environment and it just rained. So that's why you see a lot of cloud illumination at the moment. But to the naked eye, as I'll put in this picture right here, it's still pretty dark. Like I can't see what's going on the field. Just in case you don't know what a football field is. So this whole area right here is 100 yards. And then the tree line past the goalpost is about 130 yards or so. For the first part of the test, we're going to do all low power. Starting with visible laser, on both sides we have the HFXC on the right and the SMSLaser Trinity on the left. You know, it's the same company, therefore it's probably the same laser emitter, who knows. I can't see any difference, at least using my analog Gen 3 night vision. Up next, we're going to be testing the HFXC and the Trinity's IR laser on low power. Same old, so far anyway. Both lasers seem about the same. Of course, both the Trinity and the HFXC will have comparable lasers. That's expected. When it comes to the IR illuminator, I think that's when we're going to start seeing a difference. The Trinity has SMSLaser's new V-cell technology IR illuminator. And yeah, I think it's a lot more clear up at the 130-yard range, as you can tell between the HFXC. We're going to illuminate the goalpost with that laser, or with that silhouette target that I have. I mean, the HFXC is definitely still usable on low power, but it's a lot cleaner, right, on the Trinity. And of course, this is at max focus angle for the IR illuminator. And now we have the IR illuminator at max wide angle. As you can see, the V-cell, I think, is a lot more uniform. You know, that could just be a different lens that SMSLaser is using for the Trinity. But this kind of showcases the HFXC's kind of petri dish effect. You can kind of see there's a little bit of circles or blemishes on the right side of the illuminator. And going out to the tree line, it's a little less uniform, as you can see. All right, I think it's time to show the Trinity's party trick. We are now on the high power section. We're going to show off the visible lasers just in case there's a difference, and I see no difference. They're both green lasers. I figured SMSLaser was using the same laser emitter, and I think I'm right. And let's go ahead and check the IR laser too. At least to my analog night vision device, it looks about the same in terms of brightness. All right, time to see that V-cell technology. Of course, on the left is the Trinity. I'm going to double check and make sure it's in complete high power. And the HFXC is also in complete, high power mode. And yeah, I mean, at max focus angle right now, it's really bright up close. A lot of IR splashback, even just hitting grass. And now this is wide angle for both the Trinity and the HFXC. This really shows the HFXC's Achilles heel, which was the dirty IR illuminator, kind of like what we talked about during low power mode, but it's a lot worse in the high power setting. Especially up close, you can definitely see the blemishes, whereas on the V-cell illuminator on the Trinity, it's a lot smoother. And it's a lot more consistent, right? There's no outer ring that's illuminated at a different level, or it appears so like the HFXC. Going out to the tree line, yeah, the Trinity is just, I think, on a whole nother level in terms of consistency, as well as just being able to light up the tree line. I definitely prefer it over the HFXC. Of course, the HFXC has a lot of power, and I think it's still usable. But this is definitely an upgrade. Looking at the target at 100 yards. Now that we have the comparisons out of the way, I kind of wanted to test the diffuser cap for the Trinity, since the HFXC doesn't really have one. Man, I mean, so this is high power for the diffuser, and it basically just lights up the whole field, which is really great. I feel like this could be extremely useful if you're trying to hunt hogs or other varmint on a farm. You can just, illuminate the entire field. We'll go to low power really quick. And so this is low power. I mean, we are in an urban environment, so it may be different than being out in the woods completely dark. It is still illuminating the field. Of course, we just saw some headlights. It's still illuminating the field, but it is definitely a lot less bright. But yeah, going back to that max power, that is definitely usable. And remember, you're looking at about 130 yards. This isn't up against a fence in your backyard. You're dealing with some serious power here. So make sure you're using safety precautions and everything to make sure you're not burning your eyes out. Well, there you have it. Hopefully the comparison was useful for you. We tested the Trinity and the HFXC. If you already have the HFXC, I don't know if I'd rush out and go buy the Trinity, but having that V-cell IR illuminator is definitely worth it if you plan on seeing past 100 yards or so, or if you wanted a clean, a more clean IR illuminator. And having the built-in diffuser cap is great. You can definitely use it, trying to shoot wolves or whatever other varmint you have, right? Especially on some farmland, you'll be able to illuminate that farmland easily with no issue. Going forward, we're going to be testing the Trinity's ability to hold zero at the range, as well as testing its water resistance rating, because the HFXC did have some problem with water intrusion. Hopefully SMSLaser figured out what went wrong and fixed the issue. If you're not subscribed, please consider subscribing because the next video will be my full review of the Trinity. Until then, stay tuned.